Hey everybody, it's back to the adventures of Anton Rayne with me, SuperPaulGames. Ignore our highway construction project that I don't think's ever going to get done. So apparently we're going to make a speech to the Grand National Assembly about the constitutional reforms. I don't know how that's going to go. I came to the Grand National Assembly of Sordland to deliver a speech regarding the new constitution and ask for the support of the Assembly before the upcoming vote. I walked quickly through the corridors, giving my greetings to people on my way towards the parliamentary halls. When I entered the hall, the Assembly was in complete chaos, with shouting and cursing, damn, between the parties. There was a heavy argument about a proposal made by an MP from the NFP, that's the ultra-right-wing party. I took my seat inside the special area reserved for the ministers. Gloria Tory, the Speaker of the House, was shouting from her seat at the center of the hall as she hit the gavel 3 times, with each strike heavier than the one before. Order! Order! I saw Kisaru Keebner, the ultra-righty, standing up from his seat and shouting towards the members of the PIFJA, Friends Richter's party.
Mr. Keebner, calm yourself! Show respect to the procedures of this assembly!
Despite our efforts, the argument continued for a couple of minutes before everybody took back to their seats and finally went quiet.
Mr. Keebner, next time when I tell you to do so, either take your seat or leave the hall so we can proceed with the procedures of this assembly and continue our duties.
Some MPs from the NFP side shouted back at her in protest.
Honorable ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me to continue...
She pointed at me.
We have the President here with us today. He is asked to give us an important announcement.
The assembly fell silent. You ready to hear me get booed?
You have the floor, Mr. President.
I walked to the stand as loud clapping started in the USP side. Woo, 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 woo. Arsenio woot. That's our side, the USP. I'm gonna lay it on thick. No, wait, or do I kiss up to him? I'm going to lean on a sense of civic pride. Brothers and sisters, I am here today to raise an important question, one regarding our outdated constitution. I'm going to say something they don't expect me to say. Perhaps it's not expected of me to say this, but the president holds too much authority. That ought to be popular. In Swedish politics, in order to strengthen our democracy, we must be brave enough to point out the injustices and faults of our constitution. I continued, as I tend to do. Therefore, we propose changes to the Constitution to prepare Sordland for a more democratic era. Applause came from the USP, that's our party, and the PIFJA party, that's the Friends Richter's party. Look, I know the Supreme Court's a problem. I'm really trying to be careful about how much we go after them, because even if we get this through Congress, we still gotta get it through the Supreme Court. We will rebalance the branches of government to ensure a more democratic process for all. I focused on... I feel like I need to win the moderates over, right? That means unity or peace. I feel like unity is going to speak to the moderates, but I could be wrong. We're going to go with unity. It is more important than ever that we stand united as a nation in these changing times. I call everybody to be a part of the change our people have been calling for. We all want to make Sordland better, don't we? Let's embrace democracy and unite under the banner of our people, and surely Sordland will be great again! I could say we'll make Sordland great again. I just said that. Let us embrace the future! Just as I was about to continue speaking, Gloria Tory interrupted me.
Mr. President, with all due respect, I believe Sordland is already democratic.
I can do one of 2 things. I can do 4 things, technically. I'm not going to tell her not to interrupt me. I'm not going to say I'm not finished yet. That's tempting. You know what? She going to bring it? I could either say she doesn't believe that, or, you know, I'm going to say the truth. We both know that our constitution is flawed.
Talkin's soul and his efforts cannot be ignored. We must keep following the path he defined for Swordish people. I'm sure the honorable members of USP will see that the president is acting rash by allying with the opposition to destroy the culture of soulism that established Sordland.
Jesus, hard to believe she's in our party.
That was the extent of my quick note. Thank you. The president has the floor.
Let's see, I could say that was disrespectful. Please don't try and sabotage me. Not gonna do that. I could say we're not here to try and destroy soulism, nor our cultural values, which I'm really not, I guess, though we kinda are, maybe? I could say, who are you trying to provoke, Ms. Tory? The USP is behind me. Not all of it is, because she represents a significant part of it. I'm just gonna say, we are not here to try and destroy soulism, nor our cultural values.
Please continue your speech, Mr. President.
I took a breath and continued. The way I figure it is, the people who hate Soul, the reforms we're talking about are going to help them way more than anyone else. And we've left Soul with his Member of Honor title. Do we want to get rid of his immunity? Ladies and gentlemen of the Assembly, we must set aside our differences. I would love to tell them I demand all their votes. I could say I ask you to support us, and that's tempting. Or I could say no, I'm going to do this. This is the hopeful one. Let's give them some reason to vote for us. Be a part of a new era for Sordland. Join us and vote for our proposal. I'm not going to pretend I can address all the problems. Oh man, I could say the USP will change and lead Sordland in the future. Oh, let's just write a future together. I'm not going to call anybody out. I need anybody's vote I can get. Finish with a poem or salute the crowd? Oh my god, poetry sucks. Wait, but Bernard Circus, do we have a circus poem we can use? I decided to read a poem before I ended my speech. Shit, which was the victory one his? I don't remember. There's a victory growing with every morning. This was a mistake. There is God beyond existence or non-existence. Man, oh, I should not have picked this poem thing. There is a spring that blossoms out of the graves of our fallen. Do not dare to surrender. There is a victory that grows with defeat. I should have just saluted them. Beyond the next morning, there is a victory waiting to be won. Don't you want to be a victor? Sorry, I was hanging out with Victor Smolak the other day. The assembly roared with all kinds of different reactions. Some applause came from PIFJA and USPCs. Most of the others started to make loud noises again.
Thank you for the speech, Mr. President.
I walked back to my seat as many MPs asked to speak. Franz Richter was among them.
Yes, Mr. Richter? Thank you, Ms. Speaker. I would like to thank Mr. President for his speech. We, the People's Freedom and Justice Party, stand in agreement with the need for a more democratic constitution. I would like to thank the ladies and gentlemen of the United Sordland Party for their more open attitude compared to past years.
Alright, that's good. We have to have Franz Richter behind us because our own party is the problem. We've got to get outside votes.
As long as Mr. President's words prove not to be just words, we will be behind this much-needed movement for change. We welcome this attempt. I ask Mr. President to share the final contents of these proposals as soon as possible.
You'll love them, friends.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker.
Suddenly, Casaro Kibner started yelling from his seat. The president must have lost his mind to cooperate with the likes of you, Mr. Richter.
You and the vestiges are nothing but puppets of Western interests.
Order! Order!
Madam Speaker, I know you are in agreement with me as well. Don't stand idly there while this administration is making deals with snakes and undermine the integrity of shore.
Order, Mr. Kibner! How many times do I need to say you are speaking out of turn?
I demand to speak.
Gloria gave him a stare. She looked annoyed. Very well, Mr. Kibner, go ahead. Oh, Gloria, is this who you want to be allied with,
Mr. President!
He looked directly at me. Yo, that's me. El Presidente in the house.
The nationalist movement does not agree with your priorities, nor the way you're trying to implement them. The National Front Party will not stand with you on your new constitution.
What, you and the other three guys in your party?
Let it be known that the NFP's concerns are not included in the so-called democratic reforms. Thus, Mr. President has no right to claim them as such. We will stand our ground against any attempt to break down the established political culture and national values. Thank you.
Hey, at least he didn't criticize the poem, right? Casaro went back to his seat, but the chaos in the assembly continued. I'm gonna ask to speak. I always settle problems. Remember when there was a riot outside of Gassam, and I settled that with speaking? Where's my chauffeur? Serge, save the day! I want to speak!
Yes, Mr. President?
I can either address Kibner, I can address Richter, or I can just thank everybody. I've got to calm myself, because I want to get in Kibner's face. I want to street fight him. But that's probably not the thing to do here. I just wanted to thank everybody for their comments.
Alright, Mr. President.
MPs kept shouting and responding to each other, creating a loud mess with nothing was legible.
Order! Order! The topic's finished! We're moving on to the next topic!
I slowly left the hall. The shouting could be heard from every corner of the Grand National Assembly. I told you poetry always leads to problems. Alright, we got a couple news articles here before I hit continue. The Whole Sword Post. Rayne says President holds too much authority. If we skip down to the bottom of the article, we can see the final part where we said, "We must be brave enough to point out the injustices and faults of our Constitution," said President Rayne, showing that he is willing to bring changes that would not necessarily benefit his position. That is good news, right? That's good news for us. And then Geopolitical Walker, the head of Arcasia, warns Vogsland Navy over Helligent land dispute. So the dispute between Agnolia and Vagsland over this Hellland island, apparently Arcasia is getting involved. Let's see, the president of Arcasia, Dwight Walker, warned the Vagslandia Navy, saying, "We will not tolerate any attempts to trigger an incident on international waters. I call on Mr. Hagel, pull back your ships immediately." Things are getting more heated there. Oh wait, do we have a report here? Lucien Galad reported that so far they've been able to get in total 120 signatures behind the proposal. Efforts are underway to increase the support and to reach out to necessary members to reach the 150. So we need 150 signatures to get our new constitution on the ballot. We're still like 29 short. Ay. Wealth of nations. Alright, what do we got going on here? Governor Braun of Bergia proposes dividing up communities in Bergia. Governor Felix Braun has reported increased Blutish Freedom Front support in Blutish-dominated neighborhoods in Dyer and in all of Bergia. To address the issue, the governor has proposed dividing these communities and resettling Sordish and Blutish people to achieve a cultural balance in the special... Okay, we've got to take power away from this governor. There's no way he should have the power to force resettle our citizens. The governor believes this approach will limit the influence of the BFF and reduce the risk of secessionist activities in the region. I have a feeling that's going to make it worse. However, some officials claim that these measures would be directly against the Constitution, and the governor of the special zone does not have the authority to enact such policies. The proposal still has raised concerns among some officials who fear it could be implemented and could lead to further ethnic tensions and social unrest. Of course it is. If he's forced resettling people, that ain't gonna be good. Oh, we got some new shit. 2 articles in The Economist. I don't want to read those. Please be good about the economy. Boosting the economy. Central Bank Reinforcement Act. Central Bank Reinforcement Act is poised to bolster the strength and the stability of our national currency and the overall economy. With provisions for accumulating foreign exchange reserves, adopting a prudent fiscal policy, and supporting high export potential industries, the Act presents a well-rounded approach to economic resilience. By fostering a stable economic environment, the Act could spur foreign investment and improve our credit rating. As the Grand National Assembly moves forward with this act, the eyes of investors, both domestic and foreign, will undoubtedly be on Sordland. That makes it sound like it's good, but a Central Bank Reinforcement Act, does that mean we're spending money to boost the central bank? I don't know. Central banks are often trouble. Health requires more resources. It's basically the health minister, Benawal, saying they need more money. We ain't got it, so... I mean, we technically have some money now, but we didn't really set up those budgets, and we didn't have enough to give them 3. The radical, the hidden power of men in uniform. So the radical is complaining that our country has a long history of the military leaders being in bed or against the leaders of our country. The military leaders have too much power. As this report shows, men in uniform still enjoy considerable influence on the politics of Sordland, and nothing is being done to reverse the situation, despite the country's history of coups and civil wars. Oh, I hope we don't get coup or civil war. That'd be shitty. And in the Geopolitico, Rizia and Rumberg signed economic cooperation deal. Rumberg gains naval oh, shit. So Rumberg and Rizia are getting closer to each other. If we move over here, you can see Rumberg, who's been a threat, and then here you can see Rizia. So apparently Rumberg is going to get to use Rizia's naval ports, and they're going to get closer economically. So us and Lesbia are kind of sandwiched between them. What's going on with Agnolia? Oh, Van Horten! We just signed a trade deal with him. Wins re-election in Agnolia. General elections were held in Agnolia this week and resulted in the victory of the Nurist Democrat Union of Agnolia for the 2nd time, with this leader Martin Van Horten continuing his duties as Prime Minister. That's good for us, because we have a good working relationship with him. Good, good, good. I have to say, though, I don't feel like our speech went the best. I kind of wish I could go back to it and have called Keebner out more specifically. I shouldn't have tried to have been more peaceful, but I don't know, maybe being peaceful was the right thing, because we're trying to win over the silent majority. The moderates are what we need. The guys on the left and the reformists like us. The hardcore righties never are going to, so we're trying to win over the moderates, and maybe some of the conservatives that are more reasonable, I don't know. But that's a problem for another day. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.